wealth from tourism is difficult if you're representing the government, because there are so many things you need to put together, you need to look into. But the first thing you need to do as a commissioner or as somebody responsible for art and culture or heritage in Edo State or the tourism sector, because the tourism sector in Edo is all about culture. And when you talk about culture, then the tradition comes in. That is where the heritage part also works in. So that means that you as a commissioner or somebody in charge of culture, you have to be able to relate with the king. You have to form that link between him, because these are two people holding one same thing. The king has access, is his own, and the government also have access, is also their own, to make use of those things that is already on the ground for the benefit of the people, for for investment, for so many things. So that is the position that they need to work together as a people. But the person that is supposed to take it to the our Oba, if he or she doesn't take it to our Oba, then it might be difficult, because you need to bring all those things on the table. You need to bring it to the table and talk about it before you can even have a solution. So let's go to the other side, the heritage that belongs to private families, bloodline, and we know that Edo heritage has a lot of, you have the bloodline. I will use Igun as an example, or the Kavas as an example. Let me start with Igun. For example, when you look at Igun is their own bloodline. They have their own bloodline, their descendants that has been practicing this for generations of years. They've been doing this for generations, and this belongs to their own family. They see it as their own personal heritage. But you have to remember, this is also our common heritage. The bronze is our common heritage, but it also belongs to a particular bloodline, because this is what they've been doing for generations. So how can the government in a way make that? Because when you look at the bronze casting, that is a multi-million-dollar industry. But what happens? We have not been able to create wealth with it, because these things things do change. Yes, the family has asked that access, but what is government supposed to do in such a thing? They talk with the family, the bloodline of the broadcasters. They talk with them. They invest in their idea. They tell them that we want this sector to grow. This is an heritage, but we also want this to be wealth for the state. We also want this part to create wealth for the state and your bloodline. So we are going to give you access to tools. We are going to train you, take you to different country to learn new technique. We're going to make you learn other things so that you can add it to it. Apart from using the hand method, which is very important, because we need that ancient practices, the method of doing it, then you also have the other method, the civilized method, that is now being used in so many places like China and the rest of the world to develop fast and also some beautiful items. So they will have to bring that on board, give them access to that, give them the tools, give them the education, and follow up with it. And before you know, that industry, the bronze casting, will be multi-million-dollar, because this, you have to remember, these are souvenirs, these are jewelries, there's so many things when it comes to bronze and all. So they can even have to add other materials to it and start creating something, necklace, shade, so many other things. So how can you have such an heritage and still your state is not developed? That's why sometimes we just know that we are not good at creating wealth. That's the problem with us, because we have this whole thing lying out there, and the government doesn't know how to twist its way in. It's seeing everything like private property. They see the heritage like, it's the Oba zone, the ones that belong to each family bloodline, they are the owners. How do we grow with that? Then there's a problem, because the government themselves are supposed to approach these people. Don't take what they have from them, give them more in order to grow, but let them know that they're growing for the development of the state, because that is what they've been doing since ancient time. They have produced a lot of bronze for the Oba. It was for the development of that place, to keep history. So they have been doing this for years. So you cannot take it from them. You can only give them access to get bigger and create jobs and pay more taxes, and that will grow the city. So if you look at the wood carvers, it's the same thing. So when the government is not able to control the wealth, is not able to create wealth with all the heritage, then there becomes a problem. So if you ask me who is really behind the tourism sector not working, I will tell you that the government is the one in charge of it, is the one responsible for the tourism sector not growing. Because when you see people like us, like the private sector like us, having visited, you see other places having galleries, you see a lot of people are coming on board trying to open these places because they believe that Edo is supposed to be going well when it comes to tourism, but still is very, very slow. And when you talk about Lagos State that doesn't have too much culture, like we the Edos, is booming. If you go to other states, they are doing a lot. Even the ministry, the federal ministry, they are putting a lot of money in the tourism sector. So why is it that those money are not getting to Edo State? And why is it that the Edo State is not attracting any of the federal cash when it comes to tourism? What are we doing wrong? What are we not doing? How do they see us? Did they still see us that, the palace or the king is the owner of all heritage? Yes, but these are things that you can easily sit down and talk about. You know why? Because the Oba is an enlightened man. He has traveled all over. He knows what the tourism sector is all about. If you bring REITing to the table, he knows it. He will approve the REITing for you. As long as you stay in there, you follow up with what you're supposed to follow. You know what you bring into the table to him to look into. So that is the point, and that is why so many places it's not working. There's so many. We look at just the tour, the 1897 invasion. I call it the invasion tour. Look at that tour that is supposed to be a money-making machine for Edo State. People tripping in and out to learn about that history, to see the place, even foreign visitors. But what's happening now? It's nothing to write home about because the government hasn't paid any attention to all this. If you go to states, they will tell you it's federal. When you go to federal is not concerned. Why would they be concerned? Because it's right there in the state. It's not their problem. It's not their business. It doesn't concern them at all, even if they are responsible for some of it. So that is where the state needs to come in if they're really ready for the tourism sector to grow. But because they are not ready, so many things just lie there, and people keep on pointing fingers, thinking, is this one? Is this person? Why is this? So the tourism sector is still depend on the government to set the roadmap, to lead, and all the private sectors, they will follow. And at the end of the day, Edo will be that place that a lot of people will be tripping in and out, and that will attract so many investors to Edo State. So we have to start doing things the right way, because the tourism sector is also the sector that will make Edo beautiful. When it comes to infrastructure, I tell people, it's only when you're expecting visitors. Most of the time, it's when you are expecting visitors. That's when you want to make everything perfect. Sometimes when you don't think about people, you don't want to impress anybody, you might not want to do anything about anything, but the moment you want to impress, that is when you start running up and down to fix one or two things. And that is what our state should be doing, because we want to impress our visitors. That means that the government will want to create one way or the other for infrastructure. They want to create more roads to places like Aunshi or Soso and so many other places. So Ugbine, Uboton, we need good road all over those places that are leading to so specific heritage site that people want to see. So that's the reason. So if you're out there still thinking, oh, is it the palace that is there? The palace is in charge of all heritage. That's why the tourism sector might not be able to grow. I will tell you no. Because what? Our Oba is so enlightened that he knows what the tourism sector means. I will tell you that the government themselves, the art and culture department, need to find a way to talk, need to find a way to go to the palace, have a good proposal, good initiative, good innovation to sell and say, this is what we have, this is the plan, this is how we think it will benefit our state, this is how we think it will work, this is how we think we can make these locations very attractive, this is what we want access to, how can we gain access to this, what should we do before we gain access, what is our limit, how far can we go, can we stop here and not go more than that? Then I think the doors will be open. But until they do the needful, people like us that are just struggling, wanting the tourism sector to go, we will continue to struggle, and maybe it might take longer time for us to get breakthrough. But if the government decides to get in, they will do it faster than us, because they have access. That access that we don't have, they have it all. And they are the one responsible. They are the ones supposed to be doing what we are doing, even if we seem to be fighting and wanting all those things to come to reality, but they have to take the lead. So I still pray the next art and culture, the commissioner, the next one that is going to be appointed, should do the right thing, because the right thing is going to create wealth for our state. It's going to do a lot of good. So we shouldn't just overlook it, because what Edo Benin have in abundance is their culture and everything.